please take the crayons out your mouth. North now aggressively through middle. Oh, that's an MP9 at range. This is a complete massacre. The T's could never really get into position. North at least get one back in the form of Cajun. Or pardon me, it was actually Gade. It's Cajun that gets neutralized by the MP9 next. And Gade is the last man standing, but not for too much longer. So Sprouts Oak is a little bit awkward. Does extinguish the Molotov and leaves a little bit of a gap. Maybe by design. Favin and Dennis step up and push back north again. This time it is deagles. This time it is a pretty rough purchase on the Danes and the Swede. And only one kill comes the way of North. And when you look at the overall economy that Sprout have built up, it is vast. These guys are swimming in the dollars. Collectively, how many kills do North have? Let's have a look. So it is 9. Action, but sometimes you'll get an 8-0 game where there's been a lot of clutches. It's been like 2v2s, 3v3s. The rounds have come down to the wire. That has not been the case here. DreamHack with the AK is good for 1. And finally, North do get into one of those situations that I was just touching on. They do get into a 3v3. They do make this a little bit more tenable. An interesting round falls upon us finally. It's not a complete open and closed case. It's still available. Nice shot from MSL. What they were looking for. Favin looks for information and he finds it. Gade now needs to get this kill cleanly. Does just that. With the kill, a real chance. Their best opportunity to get around to date. So let's jump on board with Spiddy. What will he be capable of? The two T's have split up from one another. You can hear the bomb going down. Sees the head. Takes down Gade. Has no idea where the remaining T is. But with it being MSL with the AWP, it would stand to reason he's probably pit side in MSL. Not affected by the flashbang. Gets a 4th. So in the one round that NaVi flash, all the grenades being exchanged, but Howell has come down as Gade tries to hold the line, but he falls to the hands of Snatchie. Spiddy now goes in for another one. They will be trying to fully defuse this bomb. MSL needs to go for the peak and he gets it. MSL 2 rounds in a row, the hero of North. The IGL pushing out ahead. Ooh, Snatchie. That's a big get onto Lecro. After another tactical timeout was dropped in. DreamHack. This is such an audacious play and he will be punished. Gade takes damage, but still neutralizes the pole, who's perched up. There's another one looking to avenge his countryman. And Snatchie with 2 big AWP frags puts Sprout into a good position. Gade correct overall. So it's good to see that they've been firing on all cylinders and really connecting. And speaking of which, Cajun with 2 beautiful P2000 headshots. Gade is next up to call. Good flash was tossed in, but it clears, and so do Sprout. So this is just what North were looking for. Smoking off the car. There's no great surprise to North that every single one of the T's is pushing through from the long side, and the bomb's now been dropped down additionally. Banged. That took them off, just destroying Vertigo as well. North are in real trouble here. In trouble in terms of this round, but AZ takes them a little bit closer to a potential comeback. Gade waiting. May very well get 1 kill from this position. The smoke isn't fully crossing either. It's effectively like a one-way smoke for Gade, and he's going to... 4. MSL still perched on the car, and they don't really have a lot of utility to deal with him. There is a molly left for DreamHack, but if he peeks, he likely will die. He throws in the pistol for a fake flash, and MSL's having none of it. He locks it down with authority. And Favin can do pretty much nothing about this. He may try and save the AWP. There's only 7 seconds left, but if... Now, look. to turn their attention over on the catwalk side of A. HE tossed in. This could do so much damage. That's money. MSL finishes off Snatchie and does a ton of damage in the process, and it's a massacre again. So for as poor as the TC, that's a new one. As poor as the T side was on North, it seems like their CT side is quite a few steps above. Sprout aren't quite sure what to do about it. I thought we might see a tactical timeout called here. This is a very important round in terms of the finances and also North hitting 10. Sprout decide against it. Now with weapons, much more formidable task. Snatchie with the first. All hell breaks loose on long. It will favor the T's for the time being, but now it's quickly switched back in favor of North. MSL doing work with the USP and AWP. And AZ with the secondary puts it to use elsewhere on the map. The bomb's down. The bomb is down and North know it. 50 seconds. Lecro making short work of Dennis, leaving it all on Favin. And Favin get cause some mayhem and havoc. DreamHack certainly one of those players. And, well, that's why. Straight away, bashes MSL's skull with the deagle and with that kill. As Favin looking to try and tap himself into some kills. Spitty with the headshot. Cajun and MSL do answer straight back before Favin goes in. Again, Snatchie now, one of the main men. The best performing player on the server for Dust 2 is still alive. They tickle the bomb, try and draw out the T's, but Cajun with the spray gets one, and then the second with the last bullet in the magazine. Through the smoke into the head of Snatchie. So, I wouldn't write them off just yet. Have a bit of faith. Dennis with a 5-7. Equalizing the man count. Snatchie takes that away. Lecro goes in, but Dennis again can now get his hands on an AK, and it's looking a little bit slippery for the T's. They're taking more damage. Both the CTs are exceptionally low. Lecro has more HP than the two of them combined, but the flashbang's in point, and so is the spray. And Dennis survives with 13 HP. Unlucky for some, unlucky for North. Be something that we go back to in a little bit. Spray in from Dennis with 2. Lecro does survive, puts the AK to use, so shush my doubts, because Lecro's on a tear. He's picked up 3. 6 HP remaining. Mousesports have had some varied results as of late, of course, but we'll get back onto that later on. That flashbang could not have landed any better. AZ fully blinded, turned to the wall, hoping for the best, and once his eyes have cleared of that flash, he'll realize that he's on the bench. Lecro. Some AWP shenanigans. Now Favin with 2 already, trading up to the AK-47. And Sprout looking to extend their lead to 4-1. Would be another solid start as they pulled off on Dust 2. At one point, I think it was 7 or 8-0 before North started to come back into that map. DreamHack has the right idea. He can sense that there is a terrorist in amongst the smoke. And now he has been proven correct. Bomb spills out. Gade has been spotted from behind. Focuses his attention towards the site before spinning back around again. He could do a bit of damage on his way out, but now he's been tagged down and he's been fragged by Favin. And it's looking a little bit too easy for Sprout. They move together. But it is into the arms of Snatchie. Missed a pretty straightforward shot last round. Will not be making the same mistake twice. He's got the one bad shot out of his system, and now it's nothing but bangers. And AZ on a measly 33 HP has to try and get back onto the site in time to make something happen. But Snatchie using the saved AWP. Go back to the previous round. A smoke underarm. 30 seconds left. Here comes the play. While he's firing in first. That's a beautiful counter flash. Nearly gets 2 for it. Now the spray is on point, but so is AZ. He picks up 3 kills. 3 massive entry frags, and come the end of this map, this could be a determining factor, but more chipped it away. MSL smashing into Favin, though. Flashes coming in on both teams. They got a result with a worse buy than this, but now Snatchie's in such an awkward position. Still rattles off shots, though. Still somehow alive, but the rest of his team, the supporting cast, has been nullified. Does tag MSL partially through the box. That's the only thing keeping MSL alive. That flick, though, is slick. Clean off. Snatchie's clearly feeling it with the AWP, though. Some of the flicks that he's landed today have been so good. 1 point he was on 21 kills on Dust 2. AZ, some beautiful entry work. Sure, it's against USPs after the initial frag onto Snatchie's AWP, but it doesn't matter if those were USP. I think it was 16, 10, 11, somewhere around that mark. Oh no, they lined up. Why have you done this, North? A conga line into death, and Dennis chomps down. Will be something that's reverberating in the back of North's mind collectively, but they have to try and clear that. North's standing tall with Cajun's deagle. They still have time if they want to pull the plug, Sprout. They don't have to fully commit to this site. Galil with a spray from Dehan, not far off, connecting some shots, and now Gade decides to change his angles. Flashbang in, they go behind it, but Dennis, who was watching down ramp, that actually saves him. He wasn't affected by the flash, does get tagged down significantly. Him and Deha are both feeling the effects of war. It's only Spitty that's fully healthy on the tees. Meanwhile, Lekro has 100 HP, but time is working against Sprout. I said earlier, they had time to pull the plug and rotate. That is no longer the case. They are fully committed. That marriage has been put into play. They will look to annul it as quickly as possible, but they need to be quick. 13 seconds now. Bomb starts to get planted. Cajun moves in. There is some cover in the form of Dennis, but it's too little too late. And now AZ, with 7 seconds, shows his hand. They stick on the... Galil with a spray from Dehan, not far off, connecting some shots, and now Gade decides to change his angles. Flashbang in, they go behind it, but Dennis, who was watching down ramp, that actually saves him. He wasn't affected by the flash, does get tagged down significantly. Him and Deha are both feeling the effects of war. It's only Spitty that's fully healthy on the tees. Meanwhile, Lekro has 100 HP, but time is working against Sprout. I said earlier, they had time to pull the plug and rotate. That is no longer the case. They are fully committed. That marriage has been put into play. They will look to annul it as quickly as possible, but they need to be quick. 13 seconds now. Bomb starts to get planted. Cajun moves in. There is some cover in the form of Dennis, but it's too little too late. And now AZ, with 7 seconds, shows his hand. They stick on the bomb, and AZ neutralizes both of the... Bomb starts to get planted. Cajun moves in. There is some cover in the form of Dennis, but it's too little too late. And now AZ, with 7 seconds, shows his hand. They stick on the bomb, and AZ neutralizes both of them. North steal away with the round from nothing. A position where Sprout, they had options available. Yes, Cajun's double deeg to start things off was exceptionally good, but Sprout still had chances. But because they waited so long, they were flipping a coin. In amongst that smoke, what angle do they take on the aggression to stop the bomb plant? They guessed wrong, and then AZ was the ace in the hole. The misdirection play. Sprout now have very little to play with. Their economy was completely eradicated. They're onto pistols. They have to go aggressively and get up close and bridge the gap. Fortunate, really, that the bomb dropped down towards the T's that are down there right now. On the lower side of B, Faven reclaims it until someone maybe puts them down for good. Has been set into an early grave alongside Spitty. It seems like North now shifting through the gears. One of the weakened players has been dealt with. Snatchie's still alive for a little while longer, and they need a big entry. They need one of those plays like we saw from AZ. Rush out onto the site, get 2 or 3 kills. In round 21, Feel like some of these Deags will need to find some softened targets. Ooh, Gate. That's a solid AUG headshot instantly. The pre-fire. Round the corner. He did take damage from there, so at the play, they have a kit, but the kit's now been taken off the table, and Snatchie not missing, not relenting. Lekro, all that remains, can try and bait this out. The time is dwindling away. Snatchie's played it so well. Lekro tickles the bomb again. There's the spray, pulls out the knife and lands it. But he knows it's all in vain. Oh, he actually got their sweet time. They're playing this spot on. Here's the flash, here's the push. Maybe the CTs can overwhelm one of these two players, or perhaps not. They're getting each other's way, though. Haven't tagged, but Spitty with a 3K. Nice idea. FaZe will try something out of the ordinary if you're north, but it hasn't worked. It hasn't paid off. They're already stacked up towards the top side of this, though. They're already in position, but he might be able to get the first. Snatchie. Oh, no. Gade nearly missed it. He at least takes down Snatchie, which is a huge part of the puzzle that goes with him. Gade with the spray gets one, and there's another one. On a lowly 8-8. Yes, it's just easy to follow. I mean, sure, I get you. I think one of the best parts about Counter-Strike, and I say this with meaning a positive way, but on a very base level, it's quite simple. There's a lot of depth to CS, don't get me wrong. But it's kind of like football in the sense of even if you don't know all the rules about football, and I know there'll be plenty of you that don't like football, but someone could watch football and have a general understanding of what's going on for his presence. Has some utility. Smoke goes in first. And an incendiary behind it. Cajun goes in. Recklessly goes in. Maybe this is where that aggression needs to be tempered. And DreamHack, the pole is lighting this round. And North, they can't deal with the heat. Lighting this round. And North, they can't deal with the heat it brings. Dennis should be going down to the hands of Gade, but DreamHack may have done enough. This 2v4 is doable. He holds on to the site, going for the full defusal. Incendiary comes down, and he gets the defuse in amongst it before burning. A 2v4 with a DreamHack 3K. Gets out the gasoline, sets it alight, a North burn. Exquisite plays from DreamHack, and now Sprout have 2 match points out of thin air. It looked as though this was done. That we were likely headed towards a second overtime. And we may still get there. But a huge play from DreamHack and an awful grenade from Spitty, by the way. Won't cost them too much, but that play from DreamHack is so vital. Takes a little bit of chip damage through the smoke, but nothing too serious. Pushing into side. MSL pushed away. Oh, Favin checking the ground for the AK. That was not the time to do it. 3v3. And Sprout CT side is crumbling again. DreamHack needs to make moves through with Dennis. AZ perched up on the little fence. Perfect angle for the back room. And decapitates Dennis. DreamHack next to fall. And it's gone from being North on the ropes. 2 match points to Sprout. They're now North in the ascendancy. 1 round away from securing at least a triple overtime and having a clean sweep on their team. Would have probably had him dead and buried the second he came around the corner. But may not have mattered a great deal. Earlier on, it typically falls down to Snatchie to get the first, and if he doesn't, they're in trouble. They line up, and Gate sprays both of them down in the head. Kills Favin through the first of Dennis, but now on B side, it is going to be all guns blazing. Spitty comes back with 2. MSL taking damage and has been fragged. A 1v1, and it's Snatchie that stands. I'm not entirely sure how the hell Sprout are in a position to maybe pull this off.